Mark Dukas joins us now to provide insight on Bitcoin's trajectory. He's a crypto analyst at Bitcoin.Live and founder of BitcoinSmartMoney.com. Thanks so much for joining us, Mark. So Bitcoin is up about 40% since Trump won the election. What do you attribute that to?
I attribute that to people being still risk on in regards to assets and where there's going to be returns involved in global assets. When you look at Bitcoin being up just since Trump got elected, it's also up over 130% for the year. So this is not just something that you're talking about having a 30-day run. This is something that happens in 4-year cycles, and the fact that we're going through the Bitcoin halving, being now a couple hundred days, that's already in advance, and now we're ahead of that. You see some supply shock that's happened in the market, which then decreases the amount of supply available for investors, and that helps price rises. So that's part of it as well.
Yet it's still trading stubbornly below 100,000. Obviously, this time of year, a little profit taking going on. But what else is holding it back, in your opinion?
So all's really the 100K barrier is a psychological level. It happened with gold when gold hit 1,000. It happened when the Dow Jones hit 1,000 in the 1960s. And then here with Bitcoin, when you talk to a lot of older Bitcoiners and they talked about the 100K level, everybody talked about selling into that if it ever got to 100K. So there's just some sell walls that are there currently, and those are getting eaten through by the institutional adoption, and then your everyday buyers that are dollar cost averaging into this asset that still remains under 100K. So this is not the top, that 100K level. It's just a psychological level and a barrier that needs to get broken through. When you think about it, does Bitcoin know any difference between 90,000 and 100? It's a 2% difference. And all it is now we're about 7-8% away from that 100K barrier.
I remember a few years ago, everyone was talking at Thanksgiving time because Bitcoin had just hit this new high. It was several years ago. I think everyone, is going to be talking about Bitcoin again, once again at the Thanksgiving table. But you did touch on this, and I'm wondering, is it considered to be the new gold, or is it considered as being a safe haven away from the US dollar?
Well, when you think about it, early on when I first got involved, we labeled it Gold 2.0 because it has all the characteristics of gold. However, the values and characteristics that it has are stronger than gold. When you think about its transferability, the ease of use, the permissionless aspect of it, those characteristics just create it up to be a better version, and that's why it's labeled 2.0. But when you think about where it's going and the people that are getting involved, they can kind of see that the value and the store of value that it creates, it's going to outperform other major assets. It's done so for over 10 years. And when you think about things that make new highs and continue to outperform, it's not like there are other things waiting in the wings to take over that. That's why the S&P is the global benchmark for the stock market. To be able to outperform that is hard. To be able to outperform Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market is hard. And that's why it's a global benchmark for this $3 trillion ecosystem.
Interesting. So ETFs have been created for Bitcoin. Investing firms are putting it into their portfolios. It is becoming much more normalized, giving it some sort of pedigree compared to the past. How much is that helping it rise, as well as other cryptos like Ether, for example?
This is definitely the year of the ETF for Bitcoin. Ether has been lagging behind for the past 15 to 18 months, and historically and seasonality speaking, Ethereum does well in December. So I'm still waiting for Ethereum to have its full bottom out pattern here on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart when you look at that comparison. But the real flows remain to be seen in Bitcoin, with over $3.3 billion of inflows happening last week, the greatest week that it's ever had. And it's only been increasing week over these last 4 weeks. And 2024 has just seen a tremendous amount of flows into the ETFs, and that's attributed to the rise that Bitcoin's had here in 2024.